One of the greatest things that we do to ourselves that frustrate ourselves is to have our input and our output, or desired output rather, not be aligned and matched up. You see, the thing about getting what you want in life and achieving your goals, having more of what you desire, is that it's actually pretty simple. Simple, but not easy. And it's not easy because our default programming tells us that in order to have everything we want, we have to do it in a certain way. We have to do it in a way that is really difficult, and it's supposed to be painful, and it's not supposed to come easy. You gotta pay your dues, right? Well, not necessarily. You can growth hack, you can speed things up, you can progress in your life much faster if you use unconventional methods. I'll give you a great example of this. When I was first starting my career as a coach and as a speaker, I had this vision of speaking in front of 10,000 people, right? This big crowd, and I'll be motivating everybody and saying all this awesome stuff, and they'd be cheering me on. Great. I thought that would be the dream. That would be beautiful and amazing. I'll be so happy. Once I get there, I'll feel like I'm successful. Now, what ended up happening was I had a great idea one day in the shower that maybe I should send my speech and make a little motivational speech and send it to one of these YouTube channels that were doing motivational speech videos, and they were really cool. So I sent one off, and I struck a bargain where I paid, I think, $100 and something for a guy named Ben Lionel Scott to promote my video and create like a motivational video around my speech on his channel. That video ended up getting over 500,000 views. And in my mind, that's not how this success was supposed to look. It was supposed to be me on stage, all flashy and cool, and the people in front of me. That's what success looked like, even though I had just outdone myself 500x, right? So what I'm really trying to tell you, or 50x, my math is terrible, don't question it. What I'm trying to tell you is that you really need to make sure that you don't limit yourself and put these weird boundaries and rules in place that basically keep you small, that keep you from getting what you really want. From there, my business took off. I had more than a 6-figure run rate. I went from being a broke janitor and somebody who could barely make ends meet to being able to afford anything I wanted. My lifestyle became completely free, and the financial stress in my life disappeared. And since then, it's just gotten better and better and better. Well, if I had held on to the idea of how things were supposed to look, the road that I had to take to get what I wanted, if I had been rigid, then I wouldn't have gotten what I wanted, and I wouldn't have been happy. I would have been in resistance and pain. Now, did I get to speak in front of a bunch of people at live events? Yes, I did, and it was great, but it wasn't all it was hyped up to be, right? It wasn't this great, incredible experience that was life-changing, and now I felt like, okay, I'm actually successful and I can just be happy now finally, right? Instead, being happy is something you do on the way. Being happy is a skill in and of itself, as I've so often talked about. Really, I just want this message to sink in for you because it's so easy to just live every day very similarly to the last one, to keep your blinders on and to think that once I get there, this is what it will look like. Maybe your goals are stupid. Maybe your dreams and aspirations and the things that you think you want aren't what would actually make you fulfilled and happy. You ever thought about that or questioned that? Maybe you're not always right, and maybe your ideals could change over time. I used to want a Porsche 911, and I thought, once I have enough money for that car, I'll buy it in cash and I'll be happy. One day, I had enough money to buy the car in cash, and I didn't want it anymore. It's funny how you think you know yourself so very well right now, but in 5 years from now, hopefully, if you're working on yourself and doing personal growth, you look back and think, what an idiot. Kind of like me just earlier in this, not having very good math. Maybe I should work on that. So you look at your flaws and you look at where you're lacking and you question it and you go, hey, wait a second, maybe this isn't the best version of myself. Maybe this is because I want validation or approval from other people. Maybe these goals that I have are there because I have to prove something to someone, and then I can feel at peace. Maybe you're holding tension and you're saying to yourself, I'm not allowed to release the stress until I'm there. And the funny thing is, in the end, you're just gonna die anyway. So the time that you spent not having fun, being in resistance, just fighting yourself at every turn, well, that's the time you're going to regret the most because you were feeling bad while living not grateful, not happy, not enjoying what was in front of you, not present, but you can change all of that. You can choose right now in this moment, what do you want to feel? What do you want to experience? And maybe it would be worth putting the process ahead of the goals for once. Maybe you ask yourself, what do I find fun? What's a good experience for me? I realized, oh, cross-country skiing, I really like it. When before my goal was, oh, I need to lose a bunch of weight. And fair enough, if you're obese, it makes sense to have that goal. That's what I was. But realizing that, oh, I like skiing. I like playing this game called floorball. These sports, they're fun to me. What if I prioritize that? What if I make that the main focus and not how many kilos I'm gonna burn off? All of a sudden, it became fun and the weight just gets shredded easily without almost even trying. It's just a good time. You're enjoying your life. Same with building my business. I thought that I had to do cold calls and, go to these networking events and talk to everybody, and maybe somebody would take my business card and hire me as a coach. Now I have tens of thousands of people listening to my podcast episodes every day. I've built an audience on YouTube and different social media channels, which is great. The bottom line is there's an easier way to get what you want, and there's a better version of what you want too. And if you drop your resistance, if you allow yourself to be your best self, all of a sudden life will become a whole lot easier and you'll have a whole lot more fun. Now, one last thing before I wrap this up. As always, if you want to grab a one-on-one call with me, just hop over to erafael.com. You can book in a session, we'll talk, see if we're a good fit. If we are, I could coach you. Again, if you want to take advantage, erafael.com. As always, I hope that you enjoyed it. I'll catch you on the next one.